In his discussion of the notion of intelligent design, the physicist Stephen Weinberg claimed that the Muslim scholar Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, who lived in the 11th century AD, was against science. The astrophysicist Neil Tyson repeated the same claim and went further to say that al-Ghazali considered mathematics as a work of the devil. Accordingly, both scientists claimed that al-Ghazali and his school of thinking was a major obstacle in the advance of science in the Islamic world. These claims are, in fact, unfounded, and I am really astonished how such serious scientists would involve themselves in such unauthentic claims. In fact, Al-Ghazali wrote a book that he named The Incoherence of the Philosophers, which is best translated to English by Michael Marmura in the United States. In this book, he tried to refute the premises of the Greek philosophy, which was adopted by some Muslim philosophers. Al-Ghazali discussed mainly the metaphysics of Aristotle, criticizing it and showing that it does not comply with the proper belief in a divine creator, nor it stand the logical argumentations. The problem he discussed include the question of eternity of the universe and the problem of the concept of space-time and the question of the divine action in the world. He tried to show that philosophical arguments are actually incapable of resolving the question of the existence of God. Accordingly, he considered philosophers are on the wrong track in understanding metaphysics. In his argument about space and time, Al-Ghazali questioned the size of the universe and whether it would be bigger or smaller than what it is. He tried to refute Aristotle's fixed-size universe and has shown that there is no reason to believe that the universe has a fixed size. With such an argument, he opened the way to accept the notion of an expanding or contracting universe, an idea which was considered absurd at his time. On the other hand, Al-Ghazali considered space and time on equal footing. He talked about what he called time dimension in analogy with the spatial dimensions. This is indeed an advanced way of thinking by which Al-Ghazali was able to conclude that time as well as space could not have been existed before the existence of the universe. He stressed the statement that the universe has no outside, and he said, if one is to ask about an outside for the universe, then it would be its outer surface, or the outer surface of the cosmic sphere. As for the question of causality, which has been the most misunderstood concept in Al-Ghazali philosophy, it was clear that Al-Ghazali has denied the classical causality and found that there is no concrete relation between cause and effect. As it is well known, this is a philosophically debatable question. But certainly Al-Ghazali was the forerunner for what David Hume suggested centuries later in this respect. However, Al-Ghazali did not deny the laws of physics as was claimed by Steven Weinberg. He only denied that such laws cannot work autonomously, independent of the will of Allah. Accordingly, he very much stressed the indeterminism or in the indeterministic nature of the world and denied determinism. This understanding of causality by Al-Ghazali is now a subject of serious studies in the West by scholars and philosophers. The indeterministic nature of the world, as we know, is one of the outcomes, one of the very important outcomes of quantum theory. Quantum mechanics has proven on theoretical and practical level, experimental level, that the world is in fact indeterministic. Al-Ghazali also discussed the question of the eternity of the sun and tried to refute Galen's postulate that heavenly bodies are ethereal in nature and that these objects are eternal, as it was assumed by the Greek philosophy. He suggested that there is no strong reason for assuming this except the belief in the eternity of the world, which he denied. Al-Ghazali suggested that the sun might be diminishing very, very slowly by losing mountains of its mass, as he put it. But this goes unnoticed because the astronomical observations at his time were not so accurate as to observe such a change. We all know now that the sun is truly diminishing, slowly losing a lot of its mass, and it will continue losing this mass in the form of radiation until at a later stage it will become a red giant, then will recollapse into a white dwarf. A detailed study of the work of Al-Ghazali shows that the claims that he was against science is completely unfounded. He was against the philosophical thinking of the Greek, for sure, and he had attained much advanced concepts than those adopted by other Muslim philosophers of his time and later, including the much celebrated philosopher Averroes, Ibn Rushd, who added nothing, in fact, to the philosophy of the Greek.